you guys, your last algebra lesson for the week. Woo! That's exciting, right? Okay, anyway, we are talking today about more of order of operations, this time with symbols of inclusion. Okay, so that would be brackets, braces, bars, parentheses. So let's look at those symbols of inclusion. Symbols of inclusion, remember, they tell you that this needs to be done first. Usually we start with, our default is parentheses. That's the symbol of inclusion that we start with. Then if we need more, we go to others. So 4 plus 3 times 2. Now we know from PEMDAS that automatically you're supposed to do 3 times 2 first. But let's say that this was an addition problem in there, 3 plus 2. And you needed to know that this needed to come first. You would want to use parentheses to show that. We also use parentheses to show multiplication. So like right here, for example, I have 4 times 3 plus 2. So I'm showing that I need to do this first, but then I'm multiplying this answer by 4. So we can use various symbols to show this. We can use the parentheses. We can use braces. So remember, that's the fancy curly Q one. We can use a bar over something. Now this is not common at all. We don't really use the bar because you usually reserve the bar to show a fraction. So you don't want to get confused. We also use it, remember, as kind of an indication of a line. It's part of how we name lines. So we kind of stay away from that because it can be more confusing, but you can use it. And then there's the, we already have braces, brackets. And that would be kind of the square version of a parentheses. Sorry, I'm like going out of your camera view. Okay, so we have parentheses, braces, bar, and brackets. They tell us what we need to do first, and then we follow our normal order of operations. So let's do a couple together. Let's start with this one right here. I have 4 times 3 plus 2 minus 5 times 6 minus 3. So I'm going to start out with my 3 plus 2 because my parentheses tell me that this is what needs to be done first. So I know that 3 plus 2 is 5. I know over here that 6 minus 3 is 3. So now I'll multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. I'm going to move my chair a little closer because it's a little awkward trying to reach over that far. Okay, there we go. Minus, now I have 5 times 3. That's 15. 20 minus 15 is what? 5. So that's my final answer, 5. Pretty easy, right? Let's try another one. Negative 3 times 2 minus 3 plus 5 minus 6 times 4 plus 2 minus 3. Now when we get into our negatives and our minus signs, we just have to pay very close attention and make sure we follow all of the rules when it comes to negatives, adding and subtracting, so that you don't make a silly mistake that's going to throw off your whole problem. So I'm going to start here inside my parentheses. 2 minus 3, what is that? Negative 1, right? Because you subtract 3 minus 2, 1. Take the sign of the larger, which would be the 3, so that would be negative 1. Now negative 1 plus 5. Positive 4, good. So I'm left with negative 3. There we go. Negative 3. Oh goodness, let's try this again. Negative 3 times 4. There we go. Minus 6 times 4 plus 2. So I need to do my addition first because that's what's in parentheses. 4 plus 2 is 6, so I have minus 6 times 6 minus 3. Negative 3 times 4 is what? Negative 12. Minus 6 times 6 is 36. Minus 3. All right, now we've gotten rid of all of our multiplication, so we can just add across. Negative 3 minus 36. Remember, that's the same as adding a negative 36. Because when our signs are the same, we just add and keep the sign and keep the sign. So that would be negative 48 minus 3, so that's negative 51. Boom, just like that. All right, now let's come over here to this one, the big big one. He's huge. Okay, so I have -2 times -3 minus 3 times -2 minus 4 minus -3 minus 2 plus 3 times 4 minus 2. All right, let's get started on that one. So I'll start with my parentheses. It's really not as big as it seems because of all the negatives. That's what's spacing it out. -3 minus 3. What would that be? Well, that's the same as adding a -3. So that's -6. Good. -2 minus 4. Again, it's the same as adding a -4. -6 again. Okay? I'm going to take care of all my parentheses going across. -3 minus 2, same as adding a -2, so that is -5 plus 3 times 4 minus 2, 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, now I've taken care of what's inside of my parentheses. Now for the multiplication. -2 times -6 is +12 times -6, -72. Minus a -5 plus 3 times 2 is 6. Okay? Well, now I'm going to add -72 minus a -5, which means that I'm doing what? That means that I'm adding a 5. So I'm adding a regular 5, subtracting a -5. So I'm going to take away these parentheses and show that I'm adding a 5. Okay. So -72 plus 5, subtract. 72 minus 5 is 67. The larger absolute value is the negative, so that would be a -67 plus 6. -67 plus 6, again subtract, you get 61. The larger absolute value is the negative, so it's -61. If you have any questions about that, especially if this part here confuses you, just let me know, okay? All right, one last thing before you do your practice. When you have a fraction, so you have a bunch of operations in your numerator and a bunch in your denominator, then what you need to do is first do the numerator, then do the denominator, and then simplify from there if you can continue dividing or reduce or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to start with my numerator here. I have 5 times -5 plus 3 plus 7 times -5 plus 9 plus 2. Well, I know that -5 plus 3 is, -5 plus 3 is -2. -5 plus 9, +4. So my numerator is going to be 5 times -2 is -10, good, plus 7 times 4 is 28, plus 2. Now really quickly, I'm going to just simplify all of this. -10 plus, excuse me, 28 is +18, plus 2 is 20. Okay, now I'm going to do my denominator. First my parentheses, 4 minus 2, it's 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5 is 10. So I have 20 over 10, which reduces to what? 2. So 2 is your final answer. Okay, how'd you do on that one? Did you get that? All right, pause now and do your practice. Okay, you should be back from doing your practice. Excuse me. So letter A, you should have gotten 3 1/2 or 7 over 2. Either one is fine. 3 1/2 or 7 over 2. Remember in algebra, you are now allowed to leave your fractions as improper fractions. So it takes a little time off of you. Okay, letter B should be undefined. Undefined because you ended up with a denominator of 0, so that has no meaning, so it's undefined. All right, now you can do your lesson. Let me know if you have any questions about it, okay? Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.